Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suyin and today I have a new video about StashAway. And yeah, I know my channel's kind of turning into like, hey, that StashAway girl's coming back. So I guess I'll just embrace it and bring you an update video. It has been 1 full year of investing in this platform, so I wanted to share with you what are my current thoughts about the platform and what strategy I have going forward with this investment. So let's get into the video. Before we get into the video, I want to remind you all to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. So it really helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of more people getting to check out the video. So thanks so much. Okay, so let's have a look at what has been going on in terms of this 1 year, and let's start at the beginning. So in the beginning, I was very skeptical about StashAway, and I was so cynical and very cocky because I have been an individual stock picker for the amount of time that I've been investing, and it's been 3 years in investing. And at that time I was so, what's the word, overconfident. At that period of time I lacked the humility that enabled me to see that there is definitely more than one way to invest your money. And I believe that after 1 year of using StashAway, I am a happy camper and I would definitely recommend this platform. At the start of using StashAway, I chose the highest risk index because I wanted more equity exposure, and for that period in time I was enabled to have full equity exposure, but of course there has been a re-optimization that has taken place, which I will also talk about in this video. Along the journey, I have made 5 different videos about StashAway. The first one was talking about the review of the pros and cons that I believe that came with this platform, and after that I also had the video of me walking through the application, the mobile application, and after that there was this dip in the market and I was sharing what my strategy was with buying more into the dip. And following that I interviewed Ken of StashAway during the MCO and we chatted a little bit. And the most recent video I made was about StashAway Simple, the alternative to FD, or if you really want to build your savings or emergency funds, that is an option and what personally I would use it for. So those 5 videos have documented my journey in StashAway, and I'm a little bit scared to watch through it just to see how funny my video editing and my filming skills were at the time. Not to say that it's really good right now, but you know, progress has happened thankfully, and yeah, I think I should check out what went on in those videos too. So I'll do a very quick recap of those videos so that I can bring you into the present and to see what I think about it right now. This is the review, my very first video of StashAway. The pros that I listed in that video was talking about low enough cost, no minimum deposit, recurring direct debits, diversifying into foreign markets, and its well-designed interface and auto re-optimization features. So very quickly now, all of those pros are definitely legit. 1 year in, I have really enjoyed that diversification into the US market, and now after re-optimization it is, I guess, quite beneficial that it is now investing into China tech and emerging markets, which are doing quite well right now, and addressing the cons of loss of control and diversification. So these cons I can address very heavily. There is a very nice loss of control because I'm already investing so heavily into my individual stocks that it is nice to be able to let go and let the platform do its work, do its magic. And that diversification, it is not necessarily that it is worsening because I am diversifying so much. It is actually a good thing. So there you have it. I have nullified my review of StashAway, but I do understand why I came from that space. And yeah, let's look at the second video. I was talking about the interface, and I think it is quite interesting. Let me see how much money I was making with StashAway Portfolio at that period in time. So at that period of time, I had a total investment of 501 ringgit, and at that period of time my returns was 36 cents. Woo, so much. Following that, I have this update video of 5 months into investing in StashAway. My total deposits were 2,002 ringgit, and that return was 69 ringgit and 2 cents, with a total money weighted return of 9.45%. In the month of March, I think, was when I made this StashAway Portfolio dipping video, and at that period of time my net deposits were 2,503 ringgit, and I had total returns of negative 43.04, so a loss of 43.04 cents, and a money weighted return of negative 3.46. And then, so when StashAway re-optimized in May, my net deposits were 3,753 ringgit, with a total return of 112 ringgit and 66 cents, with a money weighted return of 6.26%. So after 1 year of investing into StashAway, my deposits have really grown to about 5,000 ringgit, with total returns of 600 over ringgit and a double-digit 31% money weighted return. So yeah, I think this really shows you what it's like to invest in StashAway. I've never made a sell for StashAway yet, and I don't plan to, because I am investing in the long run, and I'm excited to see and to continue to document this journey. So I'm kind of glad that I'm making this video so I can see what's the growth like, what's the journey like along the way, and also learn from some of my mistakes and some of my haughtiness, and really humble down and learn the lessons that I am meant to learn. So first off, I want to talk about my personal strategy when it comes to using StashAway's portfolio investments. And I love this concept of dollar cost averaging, and this concept has been very well spoken about in any single index investing book that you can pick up. And this is a very easy strategy to execute, because simply put, you are investing the same amount of money every single time period, and the time period that I chose for my StashAway account is every single month. And what is beautiful about this strategy is that you are investing in all times of the market, whether it is up, whether it is down, and you are able to pick up ETFs at all of these different points in time. So during a down market, what I personally do in my dollar cost averaging strategy is to invest even more money into StashAway. So instead of 250 ringgit a month that I usually deposit, I would deposit 750 ringgit extra. And that has really worked out well for me over this period of time, and we can see that very shortly when I talk about the returns generated by my StashAway portfolio in this period of time in August of 2020. So that is the strategy that I utilize, and I've always wanted to use this strategy. And as an individual stock investor, I don't use this strategy when it comes to picking my stocks. So I was very happy to be able to use it when it came to StashAway. Another thing that I would like to talk about in terms of my strategy is that I invest every single month, and this works out well because initially I thought I wanted to invest every single quarter, but it turns out that the cost of conversion into currency is charged in percentage terms, so there is no difference whether I invest in monthly style versus quarterly style. I'm not saving any money, and yeah, hitting the markets more frequently would be beneficial to me, and I think weekly is kind of an overkill. You can do it, but personally I enjoy the monthly form of dollar cost averaging. So that is my strategy. And a really interesting tidbit or a nugget that I realized, as shared by a subscriber of mine, was that if you decide to change your risk index in your StashAway account, what you are effectively doing is selling off the portion of your ETFs that are not in that composition of that new risk index portfolio. So what you are doing is actually locking in some of the gains or locking in some of the losses if that's where they are at that point in time. So that is something that is very interesting, and you should take note of, because that can determine the returns that you will be seeing in the time to come. And also another thing is that a lot of friends or a lot of subscribers of mine have been wondering how come my StashAway portfolio has been increasing in value, and that is mostly due to investing consistently every single month. Some people, what they do is put a lump sum of money and to see how it performs, but what I personally like to do is to even out the risk and slowly drip in money into StashAway to hit the market up at every single different point in time. So that actually helps with the returns, at least to me, and that is not investment advice. You're going to need to figure out your personal strategy on your own. So yeah, good luck with that. So if you are finding value in this video, please remember to smash that like button, as Graham Stephen would say. That really helps in the YouTube algorithm, and leave a comment down below as well. That really helps in pushing the video out to more people so that they can also gain value from this video. So thanks so much. Now let's have a look at what's going on with my StashAway account. So I am going to hit the record button. Okay, so as you can see in my StashAway account, this is the total value that I have in StashAway, which is 8,865 ringgit and 3 cents. So this is interesting because when I first started in July, I had 0, July 2019 specifically, and not all of it is in my StashAway portfolio, which I have just recently renamed it to my Financial Freedom StashAway Portfolio. I thought that was very cute, and that actually helps me to distinguish whether it is looking at my portfolio or whether it's looking at StashAway Simple, which is very different. So checking out my Financial Freedom StashAway Portfolio, I need to create a short form for that. We can see that the current value of the portfolio is actually 5,196 ringgit 46 cents, and the actual deposits that I've put into StashAway is 4,503 ringgit. So the difference between that is actually how much the portfolio has grown in returns, which is 693 ringgit and 46 cents. And if you want a metric to measure that, it is a time-weighted return of 16.88% or a money-weighted return of 31.53%. So if you're wondering what are these terms, what are these metrics used to measure the portfolio return, I will link some helpful links down below. And all I'm going to tell you is that money-weighted return takes into account the cash flow in and out of our StashAway portfolio. So for me personally, there has been no outflow, only inflows, and that takes that into account. The next thing that we are going to look at is what are the assets currently in my StashAway portfolio. And as I said, in May there was a re-optimization where they swapped from a lot of the US equity emphasis to a more balanced emphasis. Now we have 33% of my portfolio in international equities and 20% in commodities, which is the GLD ETF. And then there's 7% in real estate, REIT, and 1% in cash. So this part that is very interesting to me is actually when you scroll down, you can see what is the performance of those individual ETFs in your basket of ETFs here. And what I want to do is click on weightage so you can see what is the actual allocation of those ETFs in your portfolio. And what I've done, I'll scoot over to this side because I want to put a graph right here of my portfolio, and it's just easier to see in graphical form, and yeah, it's pretty, so you can check that out. And what I also want to show you is the performance of these ETFs relative to each other. So this can actually show us what are the ETFs that are pulling the weight in terms of generating the returns in our portfolio. And so far, everything is very positive right now. In general, most markets that track general indices are doing very well right now. So things like the S&P 500 are being towed by the tech stocks in the US, and China stocks or China tech is doing very well in this case. And yes, that is the story of what is happening. And it is not necessarily the same story when it comes to individual companies that are, smaller. A lot of companies have not recovered yet, but in terms of index investing and ETF investing, things are looking oddly cheerful right now. So that is what is happening. Yeah, so I guess all in all, coming to the review of 1 year investing into StashAway, I personally really like this platform because I am able to shut off and not make any decisions. All I had to make was how much I wanted to invest every single month and the risk index choice, and after that I'll just auto deduct and let it do its work. And yeah, I've been very happy using StashAway. It is definitely way easier than picking individual stocks, and I really am enjoying this option. Another thing that I want to admit out loud in front of all of you is that I don't know every single thing, and when I was talking about the re-optimization, I wasn't very happy with it. So in hindsight, StashAway made a really good choice to diversify out of a lot of US holdings, and they made the right choice to invest into China and emerging markets and the gold ETF. So they did really well on that front, and what I really like about it is that StashAway is able to make decisions that I personally would not make in my individual stock portfolio. So that represents some good diversification in strategy, and if I am able to allocate a little bit more money into StashAway and also let my stock portfolio investments build over time, I think that is a very good combination. So moving forward, what I am personally going to do is put more money into my StashAway portfolio, and instead of 250 ringgit a month, I can definitely increase the allocation. So how that works is that if you have viewed anything on my channel, I really recommend to view the bucket system. I will link that up above. It is the one way that I am able to save and invest so much of my income, because I really just use the system to the hilt. And what I do is I invest 50% of my income straight away the moment I receive it in my bank account. I invest it out into my CDS or my brokerage account, and I wait for the right price to buy that stock that I'm looking at. But at the same time, now I can really think of allocating more money into StashAway, so I have a bit more of a balanced allocation between my stock portfolio and my StashAway portfolio. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. And oh, okay, yeah, StashAway Simple. That's something I wanted to address. I totally forgot about it. Going back to StashAway Simple, you can also see that I have invested quite a bit of money into StashAway Simple. It is sitting at 3,668 ringgit 57 cents, and the reason for this is that I am really dedicating my money towards a cause. And if you have not checked out that video, or if you're curious as to how I use my StashAway Simple, you can watch it up in the cards above. I will link it there. And I find it really funny that my StashAway Simple account is growing so rapidly, and that's why I am a bit more woken up to the fact that I need to dedicate a bit more of my allocation towards my StashAway portfolio, because if that fund exceeds my StashAway portfolio fund, it means that I am doing something really off, because one is a savings fund and one is an investing fund. So go figure. And there is this one more portfolio here called general investing. It is just something that I'm looking at to view what are the different ETF compositions when we choose a different risk index, because when I make a decision, I want to stick to it. So before I make a decision, I really want to make sure that I am making the best decision for me and also for the long run. So yeah, that is the down low. Okay, yeah, so we have come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have not invested into StashAway before and you are interested in starting your journey, please remember to use my referral link down below, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this video, found value in it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so that you can keep coming back for more videos like this. So I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye!